So who remembers when I said I only wanted a smaller group of mice from now on, of about 4 or 5 mice at a time? Surprise, these are my new rescue mice. I think someone just peed down my neck. Dove, did you just pee on my neck? I've got the goods. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video, which as you can see by the title, wherever the title is, I have got some brand new baby mice and I can't wait to introduce you to them. So right now I've got them in their carry cage. This is not their temporary home, it's far too small for anything like that. They do have a temporary tank they're in at the moment, and that is until they can go into my big mouse enclosure, but this is not their permanent home, this is just a carry cage, and I've just popped them in here quickly to show you and easily have access to them. So I'm really excited for you to meet them because they are super cute and I'm sure you're also going to love them as much as I do. Before I introduce them, I just wanted to quickly thank today's video sponsor, which is Skillshare. So you know I've been working with Skillshare over the last couple of months to bring you guys access to an online learning community full of thousands and thousands of classes for pretty much any topic you could think of. So Skillshare is an online learning platform for everyone, whether you're a beginner all the way up to an expert, and they've got classes to fit whatever your schedule and skill level might be. So I get comments all the time asking what I use to edit my videos, which I think is great because that probably means you're also thinking of starting your own channel about pet care and your pets. So the program I use is Premiere Pro by Adobe, and I've been using this for years, ever since I first started editing videos just like this one. And when I first started, I really could have done with a class on Skillshare because it was quite tricky to figure out all by myself. Classes like this one, called Video Editing with Premiere Pro from Beginner to YouTuber by Sean Morton, is really handy for teaching you how to navigate the program and start editing your first ever YouTube video all the way up to being able to export it. Of course, there's many other classes for different editing softwares to get you started, but this is just the one that I personally use. So one of the great things about Skillshare is the fact that you can really immerse yourself into the classes because there's no adverts on the videos, no adverts distracting you from the subject, and this can really allow you to not be distracted from your creativity and really focus on what you're trying to pick up. So as always, Skillshare have given you guys access to a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership that is only available to the first 1,000 people that use the link, and the link is in my description if you're interested. After that, it is only $10 a month for the annual subscription. So thank you Skillshare for sponsoring another video. Now let's meet the mice, shall we? So I'd like to formally introduce you to Meadow and Dove. They're my two babies, they're from the same litter, they are sisters, and I got them from London Mice on Instagram, and they are just perfect. So I've had them for about a week now, and we met up and she dropped them off, and I think by the time you're watching this they're probably around 8 weeks old. They were born on the 15th of December, which is 2 days after my birthday, which I think is really special. So they're around 2 months old, they still have a little bit of growing to do, and I'm already covered in poop. So this one is Dove. She has a grey body and a tan belly and a really cute white tip on the end of her tail. So Dove is the one that doesn't have any markings, and then her sister is Meadow, the one that has a white face, tan belly again, grey body, but she also has a white marking on her face and also a white marking on her back as well. So in terms of their personalities, they are very confident mice, and that is pretty much all down to the hard work that Joe puts in handling them from a very early age and just working with them to bond with them. They are not hand shy at all, and pretty much the second I got them, they were perfectly happy to hop up onto my hand and spend time with me, which is great. Of course, things are still completely new to them. There's a lot of new smells, new animals in the house, and obviously I'm an entirely different person, so they have had to adapt to that and get to know me and get to know their new environment. But I'd say they're doing pretty well considering they are a prey species, and they have done a really good job of settling in, so I could honestly not be happier with them. I do think Meadow is the one that's a bit more confident slightly than her sister, just because she seems to be the one that comes to the front of the enclosure first and wants to interact above her sister, but Dove on the other hand is a bit of a weirdo. I'll put a few pictures on screen just to demonstrate what I mean, but I was sent these as she was growing up, and she just sleeps in some very weird, questionable positions, so I do think she's going to end up having a really funny personality. But they're both super sweet, both really okay with being handled, and I'm really excited to see how their personalities develop as they get bigger. So with the mice, she also gave me a gift bag of things for them, which I thought was really cute. We've got different types of bedding, Timothy hay, back to nature bedding, hemp bedding, and then also some documents of how to care for them and their date of birth, things like that. And then also some transition food so I can gradually switch them over to the mix that I use, and then also a pot of treats. So in here I think there's a shrimp biscuit, mealworms, Rice Krispies, niblots, seeds. So that's also a really cute touch that I thought I would just show you guys that also came with the mice. So I did ask on Instagram if you had any questions, because right now I'm really suffering with brain fog and I just can't seem to piece together a sentence, which hopefully you've not noticed too much, but I just didn't really know what to discuss or talk about that I hadn't already talked about on Instagram or in the beginning of the video. So I asked if you had any questions about them, and Dove is escaping down my leg, and you sent in a few questions, so I thought I'd just answer some just in case you were curious. So a lot of people were curious about when I planned on introducing them to the rest of my mice, and if you're not familiar with my channel or my mice, I do have 2 older females who are over 2 years old at this point, and then also a neutered male mouse who is, I think, about 6 months old. So I've not fully decided when this is going to happen, but probably in like a week, 2 weeks time, just to give them a chance to settle in and get a little bit bigger. The next question is related to this, and that says, are you going to introduce them to the older girls or just Fleet? So my older 2 girls, Bramble and Sprig, are getting old. They are getting quite fragile and slow on their feet, and they were the main reason that I had to get new mice in the first place, just because obviously time is ticking with them. I'm not too sure how much longer they're going to live because they are rescues and they don't have the best background, so they've done really well to get to this stage and get to 2 years old in approximately January time. So I knew I had to get new mice to keep Fleet company, and that was my main reasoning for getting these girls, because I was really struggling to find any mice needing homes. So that's the reason that these 2 are in my life. And originally I was just going to do a big group introductions because they were fine for their age. They wasn't showing any issues or health issues, but I've noticed mostly in the last couple of weeks, I think someone just peed down my neck. Dove, did you just pee on my neck? My neck is very warm. I think someone just peed on me. Anyway, I've just noticed in the last couple of weeks my 2 older girls have just been getting a bit slower and steady on their feet. They just look really frail, so I'm not too sure whether a big massive group introduction is going to be the right thing for them, so probably not. So the next question is, why do you choose to go to a breeder and not a rescue? So I really actually wanted my next mice to be from a rescue, and there was just no mice available in local rescues or even on selling sites needing homes, so there was just no mice for me to get from a rescue at that point. And of course, as soon as I reserved these girls and I've got these girls, so many mice are popping up needing homes, which is just the way it goes. I couldn't find anyone I needed them, and of course I did need to make sure they had new mice in the group because my girls were getting pretty old. So it was just circumstantial. I couldn't find any rescues at that point, but I do have a surprise in the carrier which I want to introduce you to in a second. But there's nothing wrong to going to a breeder if you can't find any rescues, and there definitely is benefits to it because you can get healthy, friendly babies that are already tame, like these girls, which I think is definitely a benefit. So I don't mind. I don't have a preference between breeders or rescues. I do like to rescue when I can, but there was just no mice available at that point. All of them came afterwards, which there is a surprise down there. So who remembers when I said I only wanted a smaller group of mice from now on, of about 4 or 5 mice at a time? Surprise, these are my new rescue mice. So I saw a post by Mimi's Rodent Rescue, and she had rescued about 70 mice, I think. There was mice living under floorboards, whether they'd been released or something, I'm not sure, but 70 mice all breeding that had all bred and needed homes. And I saw them and I fell in love with them, and I thought, I know I set myself a limit of 4 mice, but these mice need rescuing, they need homes, and I can offer that. So Jo who bred Meadow and Dove, was actually going to rescue a bunch of the mice herself, and I said, can you possibly pick me up 2 mice as well? So these are my 2 rescue mice, and they are actually neutered male mice. So this one sat right here on me is Possum. I don't know what possessed me to name him this, but his face just reminded me of a possum in the first ever picture I saw of him, which wasn't the clearest picture, so I wasn't too sure what I was getting until I got them. And I decided to go with the neutered males because there were so many of them needing homes. I think a lot of them still need homes at the moment, so I'll leave their Facebook in the description, but he really stood out to me and I really wanted him. So his name is Possum, and he is a long-haired tricoloured satin, I think. He's very shy, so I'm not going to leave him out for too long, but he is a really sweet mouse. He's very, very quiet, so he's going to take a bit of work to tame, I think. But the other one who is absolutely crazy, that is Flurry. And then this guy is Flurry. I named him Flurry because he looks like a fluffy little storm cloud, and right now in England we're having a snowstorm, so I thought it'd be fitting. And he is a Texel. I really wanted another Texel mouse after I lost Pearl a couple of months ago, and this is him. He is crazy. You can tell he really wanted to interact, but he was obviously a bit nervous because I don't think he's ever really been handled much before. but he was just really curious and really desperate to see what was going on with the girls interacting with me. He was very curious, so I think he's going to be really friendly in no time. So these boys are a similar age to Meadow and Dove. I think they're around 8 weeks old. I don't know exactly when their birthday is, but they're about 8 weeks old and they were neutered over 2 weeks ago. So they've been living with the girls for a couple of days and they've been getting along really well. I think they really like each other, and I'm sure a lot of you are curious, and I'm going to introduce the boys to Fleet. And yes, I do plan on having all of them living together. Fingers crossed. Hopefully. I'm also really interested to see how it goes, but I will make a video on introducing neutered male mice together, but I think hopefully it should go okay. These two aren't overly aggressive from what I've seen to each other, so hopefully it should be fine. So yeah, those are my new mice. We've got Meadow and Dove, and then my two new extra surprise bonus mice, Flurry and Possum. I hope you guys love them as much as I do. I will do a video in the future introducing all of the mice together, whether I decide to do a full group introductions. Regardless, I am going to film introducing them to Fleet, which should be interesting, and hopefully you guys can learn something from the process. But I just wanted to take today's video to introduce them and let you guys know that I could not hold back on just having 4 or 5 mice, and I did get 2 new rescue mice as well as Meadow and Dove as well. So that is it for today's video. Hope you guys have enjoyed meeting all of the new mice. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Say bye! You're being so brave. You are. I'm so proud of you. And you. Good boys. Good boys.